good evening, and welcome to Letters from the Light Side on the 7th of October, I had to think about it then, of 2021. And my name's Annie Conboy, and this is the channeled guidance from my inspirers about the energy that we're moving through. So it's not so much individual messages for people. However, please take whatever you can from the information that the guides and inspirers give us, and hopefully you'll find it helpful in the week ahead, and perhaps to explain what's happening for you right now and where you're at. So, sorry, I'm just... Rafe's hovering around, tickling the back of my neck and just going, come on, let's get started. It's really interesting when we shift in energy from one state of general energy to another state of general energy. One of the things that's important about us is to remember that we are energy sensitive. Every single person is intuitive, and so in some way or other we can feel those shifts. We can feel the switching on and off of different kinds of energy, and for a long time now we've actually been walking through quite a strong, heavy presence of fear, very wearying fear, trying to get us to maybe recognise and understand how we think ourselves into fearful states, and getting us to recognise a lot of things about what's our inner world. But that's the nature of the guidance that we're given, that's the nature of the energy, to get us to understand what energy we put out into the world, and therefore what energy we get back. So this week you might have found that you've been having kind of reversals. So maybe thinking everything's not going well when it is going well, or thinking it's going well when it hasn't been going well, and kind of trying to make sense of am I upbeat or am I downbeat? Am I moving forward or am I moving backwards? We are in a situation where planets are retrograde, and that always has an impact. And my guides always like to say, watch the sky, Annie, watch to see. But we've got a beautiful new moon. The new moon energy from yesterday is really optimistic and really hopeful, and bringing in this sense of balance, recognising that it's up to us how we balance things and how we decide things are going for us, actually. So it's really, Rafe's really keen to encourage you to see the events of the last week as you trying to find your balance, find your feet, so to speak, because of this new that's coming in. It's really typified by finding yourself doing things that represent new beginning. So for instance, I had a lovely chat with someone whose baby is due shortly today. Earlier in the week I was busy planting a tree into the ground. It had been in a pot and it's moved into the ground. It's a new beginning for the tree. I've got my studio shed coming along for my astral art. Another new beginning tomorrow. So also thinking about the ways in which conversations have gone this week. Very positive conversations, mostly. Again, just being aware that there are little sticky patches, little points where you might find yourself slipping back into older fears or older energies, It's really interesting that when your dreams start to happen, your ego mind goes, it'll all go wrong, it won't be perfect. And it's a thought form, it's a thought pattern. It's up to you to say, well, wait a minute, actually, I'm not going to manifest, I'm not going to bring in that energy. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tell myself it's going to be wonderful, because that's what it will be if I set that up in the energy. So Rafe has had me watching my energy all week, trying to make certain that I use this beautiful blast of new moon energy to be able to build forward and to put into the world all of the things that my creative mind wants to have happen. And when we tackle things that way, when we take charge of the way in which we think and what we believe, we're on our path to a triumph, to a success. We can overcome things, and we can kind of go, oh, well, yeah, the world isn't perfect, the world is upside down, so maybe, but I'm okay, I am managing. And I think that's a key part of getting success, is to recognize when success might not have appeared just yet, but you're on your way to it, looking for those little small signs. In healing, when I do my healing work, when I've worked with people, it's the little things that they report have changed since the last session that are like spotlights to me, going, yes, this person's going to come out of this. Yes, this person's finding their hope and their positivity. And that's what Rafe is very keen on us using the new moon energy for, to look at what's happening in our lives, not look at the things that aren't working yet, aren't running smoothly yet, but look at the things that are working. You might have found one or two vivid dreams under the moon as it's going into new. You might have found yourself sitting daydreaming, wanting to have new dreams come forward, feeling that lovely creative flow. If you can't imagine it, it can't happen. And one of the things I'm just laughing because Rafe just said the number of times he's had to tell me that particular thing, if you can't imagine it, it can't happen. And I've had to go, but I don't know if I do think it'll happen. And he's insisted, imagine it, go into that lovely daydreamy state and visualize it happened. Visualize yourself waking up and the change has happened, or the thing you want has happened. And and I've kind of gone, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And then I've done it. And guess what? It's happened. So it's that lovely understanding that we are connected in our energy to the energy of everything else. And if we allow ourselves to imagine it, then we're allowing that it can happen. And this is what synchronicity is based on, this lovely idea of, right, I'll just bring it into being by putting my intention in and putting my feelings in, and it'll happen. We're very good at manifesting or bringing in, not the best word, but we're very good at bringing in all those things that are the what we term disasters or problems or issues, because they play on our mind and we imagine them, and we actually imagine things that will never happen, and then they do happen because we've imagined them. So bringing it into being means getting into that success, that sense of triumph. And it doesn't have to be big, huge things at the beginning. It's about letting yourself get used to the thoughts being hopeful and positive, and batting away the bits that kind of that'll never happen, and just moving past that ego disbelief, that ego thought forms that make you feel like you can't have the things that are there for you to have. And it's a wonderful time. I just love I just love new moon raves. Always saying to me, have you set your intentions? Have you asked for what you want? Have you imagined it happening? Have you worked through what it'll feel like? Because it's the feeling that's important far more than the thought sometimes. It's that feeling of just knowing through the feeling it's going to happen. The excitement's there. Sorry. Sorry, just spotted. There's a little spider up in the top of the room. Spiders are wonderful because they show you that there's a whole web of connection, and it's not what's in the centre necessarily that matters. No wonder Ray's drawing my attention to it. It's what's on the outside. What else is attached to your dreams? Well, my dream of a studio in the garden has been because it gives me a space to do my messy work, the stuff in my artwork that I don't want to spill the paint on the carpet, but I can be in the shed and spill and splash and splosh, and I can create in a freer environment. So remembering that, imagine it and it will happen. Give yourself that boost by taking those thoughts out of your head that get in the way and said, no, it won't ever happen. I want to say that there's a greater amount of hope energy at the moment. It's a beautiful golden yellow, almost a sunflower yellow colour, and it's weaving in and out of all of the kind of the fear stuff and the disappointments and angers and things. It's weaving in and out, bringing this lovely little magical glow. When you are imagining, it's about bringing in hope, understanding that, yeah, I can have this, that I can hope for this. And I know because our loved ones, the veil is going to be very thin at the end of this month. So our loved ones in spirit are already kind of popping in and trying to make their presence known, because as the veil thins, as the barrier between us thins, it does so over a 2 or 3 weeks. And it means that the loved ones can step in closer, and it means that they can give us the messages and the indications that they're there. And they're wanting to kind of bring that sense of hope. I've had fascinating discussions this week with my guides and with the people I teach about the nature of life and what we're here for. And I know that Rafe always asks me to consider that, because I can sense the loved ones all the time, that is a way of bringing hope into my life, because life continues, that this isn't the be all and end all. And I know for some people that is their view, their belief, that we have this life and we don't have anything else. But because of that connection, because our loved ones do their very, very best to make sure we know that they're around, it gives us that hope, that understanding that we will be reunited, that whatever is happening in this life, it's a temporary thing, that we go back to a place where we join with one another again and we share with one another again, and the love isn't lost. Nothing is lost. The love is still there. So in this lovely golden yellow flow of hope, it brings all of the spirit wishes and dreams forward for us. They want us to understand that we've got to imagine our futures. We've got to imagine what we want in our lives and put that loving energy into understanding that that's what we can have, that synchronicity, the fulfillment of our dreams is there. And to keep that hopeful uh, energy, as we radiate it out, it comes back to us. What you give out, you get back. And again, Rave's always like that. Come on, Annie, you know, what you give out, you get back. Which was very interesting because I had a grumpy day on Monday. Grumpy day Monday and probably into Tuesday morning as well. Again, just a little bit of the energy that was flowing around, because sometimes we get caught by it in a sense, and we have to stop and say, well, is this my energy? Is this somebody else's energy? Is this the energy of the whole world? I think the whole world was grumpy Monday. But we can get past those feelings. We can recognize what beautiful things are happening in the world. What Rafe is also asking me to talk about is, with new beginnings, we have to have endings. Something ends and something else starts. So it comes as a package, endings and beginnings. There's not one without the other, whichever way you try to do it. And believe you me, sometimes I've tried to do the beginnings without letting anything end, but it doesn't work like that. And what there is in this beautiful moon energy at the moment is an appreciation that some things have to end, but it's right for them to end. I think sometimes we're worried and we hang on. We're a little bit frightened that when things change, we won't quite like what the change is. So we kind of hold on a little bit. And what Rafe is encouraging you over the next couple of weeks is to bring those new beginnings in, build those new beginnings by letting go what doesn't serve you anymore. You might need, and you might find over the next 2 or 3 days, that the solitude of thinking things through is important. Try in the energy of the next 3 days, which is a very creative flow. Try sitting quietly for half an hour, just imagining those wonderful dreams as a reality, and saying goodbye to things that no longer are necessary, things that don't serve you anymore. One of the things I have been doing in thinking about what's going on around me, not just in the middle of my focus, has been to say goodbye to things that are fearful, to make a conscious decision to not go into those thought trains any longer, those thought loops that get me anxious or unsettled, maybe the thought loops that get me feeling scared, and to look at what it is that I've been doing to hold myself back, I suppose, in my thought loops. Because it's really interesting. On Tuesday, I was at the point of thinking, shall I just ring up and cancel the studio? Which, of course, never going to happen, because I so want this. It's such a big dream of mine. However, the thought loop was there about it, and doing all sorts of but if and what if and oh, how about if, and doing all sorts of kind of chuntering away, chattering in my head, almost to the point of really seriously holding me back, until I stopped and thought, right, okay, this is following on from some other energies that are going the rounds, and this is me having to take control and master my thoughts and send them away, and be realistic that that'll never happen. That'll never. I was going through them and I was thinking, well, that'll never happen. Well, if that happens, I've got this, and if that happens, this will happen. You know, positive things, hopeful things, to counter these thought loops that were likely to get in the way. And I had to do some letting go. I had to recognise that maybe on certain things I get a little bit scared. And when I get a bit scared, I go back to old and cling on and really try and, keep hold of stuff that I should be letting go. So, Rafe's asking you to be aware that that process is in the energy around us, and that you might find yourself with some thought loops over the next 2 or 3, 4 days even, that need to be addressed, that are about, wait a minute, I need to have hope and optimism about new beginnings, not fear and resistance to endings. Letting the endings happen with ease and grace. When I get really in my head, Rafe sort of runs in the room and waves at me, and he's always mouthing ease and grace. And it's true. Using that mantra, using that thought, I'm letting this go with ease and grace, because what is coming in afterwards is so much what I desire. It's how I can encourage myself, because I need to let the new in. We all need to let the new in. Heck, we have a whole world that needs to be revamped. There's so much work to do, and we need to revamp it. So being able to let it go, and then looking for the hope and tuning into the hope, is a really great way to make that happen. As we get through into Monday, Tuesday, there's a little bit more of a stormy energy. We have to acknowledge that we've allowed ourselves as a human race, and within us, we've allowed ourselves to become divided. Our thoughts pull us in one direction, Rafe says, and our heart pulls us in another. And we're not bringing them together. We're not working from the heart that then generates the positive thoughts that help us move forward. So we are going to encounter stormy weather. We are going to encounter particularly emotional energy in this next storm. But be aware of how your energy, your emotional energy, affects your body. We have to get used to the energy connection to the physical body, that what we flow in percolates into our very being, our physical being, which is energy. It's just vibrating so much slower than any of our aura energy that we think we've got a solid bit in the middle. We haven't really. It's not solid. It's energy. But we have to get our heads around the understanding that whatever energies are thrown about our aura and thrown about our world will manifest physically. So you may find, particularly Tuesday and Wednesday, a feeling of flat, exhausted, as if your physical body's had enough. That's the storm energy. That's the kind of, I want to say, the hysteria running wild, because when we're fearful, sometimes we get so overwrought, we become hysterical. We can't see the wood for the trees. We don't understand how we're going to ever be able to change anything. And these thoughts and emotions get us into such a disrupted state. So when we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, the answer is to be as calm and as steady with yourself as you can be. Recognise that the energies are washing over you, and do your best not to take on board anything that's not hopeful. Remember that beautiful flow of the golden yellow hope. It's running alongside, it's intertwined with a beautiful magenta pink energy. When I look at the world with my energy eyes, I love to watch the way that beautiful unconditional love, the magenta energy, twines itself in and round the world and in and round people. We don't notice, so we don't grab it and say, oh, I'll have a bit of that. And that's the kind of energies that can help with that divided feeling, that two minds feeling that can come when the energy gets stormy. You don't know whether you're coming or going, really. So plug into that. It will ease and calm down again. And we are still in that wonderful moon energy, that new moon. So you can use that energy and remind yourself that swapping from the old to the new is a change, and it can be turbulent. Remember, it's about, if you haven't yet let go, because that's what's gonna make the difference. Sorry, I'm laughing because I feel as if Rafe's talking personally, directly to me. Because I've got new bits and pieces coming along. And I'm going, yeah, but what if? But so Rafe says, don't be your own worst enemy. The success is there in your life. However you measure that success, it's there. Make sure that you are open to that energy that will show you the success that's yours. Make sure that you feel upbeat as much as you can. It's not always possible, especially when you're battered by stormy energy. But remember, you are afloat. You are being supported by your loved ones. Call on them. I regularly get asked by the loved ones in spirit, for the people I'm reading for, to say to people, ask them. Just ask your loved ones. They need your permission. It's a spiritual law. They need your permission in order to be involved in your life, because you have free will choice. And if you're busy being, sorry, this is rape for me. If you're busy being Miss Independent instead of part of that loving team making it happen, then you're missing a trick. You're missing a step. So as that veil thins, as you feel the presence of your loved ones, don't forget to say, could you give me a hand with this? Oh, by the way, I just need that sorting out. Leave it to them. They'll handle it. They really will, because they just want to do anything they can to help you have your dreams. And they know as much as you that dreams matter. And it's important to have that spark of encouragement. So they'll give it you. They'll work things out for you if you ask. Sorry, I'm just laughing again because Rafe said, tell them. One of the things I'm not very good at, that I don't really like, is doing my accounts. I can do them, but I don't like it. So when it's time for me to do my accounts, I always ask for a guide who knows how to do accounts to come in and help me. And it's amazing because they just get done without me even thinking about it. I'm just doing them and they're done. And this is the thing to remember. There's always help from the other side. There's always someone who's got the expertise that you might feel you don't have. So give them a shout. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. I'm so grateful when you watch live and also when you watch on catch up, because it means there's an opportunity for Rafe's message or the message of the guides and inspirers to get out there. Thank you also for sharing it on with people.